All right, so this is the second video to the 950 John Deere that we started a couple weeks back. It's going back together now. We were waiting on the machine shop, and they did an awesome job. Good friend Billy did all this. We got the block done, it's new sleeves. Noel over there is holding up the head. We got that. Just got the wood burner going. It's kind of cold in southern Arizona at 31 degrees. We got our literature, and we're getting ready to assemble. So if you walk around with me, so this is what it went in for. It's been all shined up, redecked. We got new sleeves, got a kit that matches it. Got our new crank main bearings. And this rear insert crankshaft sent to the rear. We got those journals sitting over there on the bench. And with every old tractor comes our manuals and our literature. Gonna go through and check all the specs. And if you hang out there for a second, I'm gonna be double checking our work and our clearances with some plastic gauge. The head, you may have already seen. Take a look at it. It's been completely machined, no cracks. Billy does amazing work. Should make this a smooth running engine by the time it's all assembled. We just gotta do our part and do it right. We'll take a look at the tractor over here. So you'll remember this in the disassembly video. We had pulled the front arms off, split it, we kind of just stuck it all together. Crank's freshly back from the machine shop, but it sat through a dust storm, so we're gonna thoroughly clean that, start staging our parts. So, let's get to it.
What in the hell was that all about?
Thank you. That key. Alright, so we got new pistons for this. We're going to be reusing the old rods. So all we're doing is just taking apart. This thing has good wrist pin bearings. We're not doing a complete overhaul, but we are changing what needs to be.
That one almost looks new.
Yep. So, now that we got that apart, these here are our new pistons. And that's what's going on. Building the pistons, we already got two done. Third one, numbers stamped, face the cam side, keeps your direction right. Piston, nubbin, towards front of the engine. Nubbin, no nubbin. Slide that out of the way. Well, you know what, for now. Get our rings out. Whoever made this kit is a lovely, lovely person, because your rings come with fancy pictures. Follow the fancy pictures, any idiot can do it. There's one doing it right now. Just about every piston in the world, you quarter it like so. Turn this ring that way.
I was just checking that.
And turn this ring to this quarter.
I'm taking number one.
This ring to this quarter. This ring opening to that quarter. Last ring open to that quarter. All your quarters should be in different places. Not going to worry about that too much because we still got to do the ring compressor and they're going to move until then. But for right now, slide your wrist pin out of the way. Your numbers and stamps towards the cam side, which is the bottom end of the engine right here where the lifters and everything go. Turn that down. The nubbin towards the front of the engine. That's the front of the engine. Slide it in, and when Jeff's done riding the struggle bus over there,
I'm not riding the struggle bus.
Put the snap rings in. I'll go in like so.
Does it matter which way the snapping?
All right, if you have not used Plasti-Gauge before, here we go. You open it up. See a little red stick in there? Pull you out a length, what you think the width of your bearing is going to be. Take your trusty knife here. Cut you off a segment of it. What we're going to do is take that little guy. On the other bearings over there, we're going to place it in the journal and we're going to smash it down. So you're going to take this little guy, you're going to place it right in the journal, then you're going to torque this whole thing down, smash that up against the crank. When you're done, it'll smash it out to a width right here, and if you see these numbers, it'll tell you what your tolerance is. So we're doing the Plasti-Gauge to check the oil clearances on the mains. And this is going to be for the John Deere 950, 1050 tractors. We're working on the 950. So you come down here, your bearing to journal oil clearances. Now we got two different types of Plasti-Gauge, a green and a red. So to find our range, we're going to come down here to our front and intermediate bearings. So front and intermediate, this right here is new part. We're not doing this one because we are running an old crank that's been polished. It's fine, but we got a wear tolerance for old part of 006. Yeah, so oil clearance. So rod bearing, that's the ID, whatever assembly size. This right here is our oil clearance. We're gonna come over here, 006. So now you come over here. Uncle Leonard's already got the cap. So see how it smashed the Plasti-Gauge? We're gonna look on this chart. 006 is right here on the end. Yeah, it's just a repeating chart. Oh. And it's plus or minus 2. So that's actually a little fat. It's a little bit, that's more 003. We are technically slightly, oh so slightly out of spec. We are at 003.
0035 is a new part.
We're going to torque it down to 47 Newton meters. We're going to try to torque this down to 47 Newton meters. Why is that not going in nice? 47.2. 47, let's double check. In the comment section, you're already going to have, you're losing so much with the extension. It's fine. No, and that is, and you don't. Mm-hmm. You don't lose any. You lose it on an impact, but you lose it on a torque wrench. There's all kinds of fancy math, and it would take a whole nother video to try to convince people that aren't going to listen anyway. But you do not lose torque through an extension. And it has to be snap-on. It can't be a whatever.
That's right.
People lose their minds. There's a, what is that set up? Pittsburgh to Craftsman to Snap-on. Yes. So it progressively gets more expensive on one tool. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Trusty Pittsburgh impact socket to a Craftsman. Go ahead, Internet. Decide what brand to yell at me for now. And then a Snap-on wrench here. Laying on top of a Snap-on thermal gun, which we're just using for the well, and then there's some DeWalt there, so you know you'll get some crap for it not being Milwaukee or something too. So how can we further piss off the internet today? And you could probably let go of that if you just wanted to see it for yourself. But 006 is still our tolerance, plus or minus 2. We're sitting about the 005. Let's just say it's the fatter one, 004. We're plus or minus 2. Oil clearances are good. All right, we're going to assemble this thing, and next you'll be seeing the crank drop in. Okay, so we're now going with the main carriers for the crankshaft. And right here, we've got assemble bearing housings with bearings on the crank, so we're going to torque them to the crank before we set the whole crankshaft in. And this is where it gets important, the little details, with F mark towards flywheel side of crankshaft. Normal humans, and I wouldn't blame anybody for making that mistake, F means front. But you read on, Crankshaft with F marked towards flywheel, which is exactly opposite of what you would think. So we come over here, and exactly what they're talking about is right here. So these are our two main carriers. This one's already set up with bearings. Our F is actually going to go towards the rear, and we're going to bolt them onto the mains, torque them, and the crank is dropped in to the rear of the block once we stand this up, and you'll see that in the next section that we're about to do. But there's a difference in the two main carriers that you got to be looking for. You'll see these are main bearings, just like these are main bearings, but we got a thrust right here. So when these caps are bare, there's a groove that you have to look for right there on the cast iron. Ignore these bearings. That cast iron groove, that indicates this is the carrier for the thrust bearing. Come over here, you're not going to see that groove. With the bearings out, you just got this smooth machine finish all the way around. These are not thrust bearings. And let's not forget this part too. These little channels for oil. We've got a main here. You see how smooth that is? You got the rear one right here. And you see that groove? So that oil can flow into that thrust side of the bearing. Make sure those are right and directional. That's important because you see it's not on the other side here. Alright, so we're going to take out this bearing, the old one. Up there, we got an oil valley, so we got it marked so we know where to put the new bearing through. Mike's going to knock the hell out of it.
And I'm gonna hold it.
And he's going to hold it. I'm going to edit this to where it looks like I hit it in 2 swings. I'm not going to let that happen.
Look how easy that came out.
You know, a Hulk clip in there. Just 1 swing. What do you got there? Old bearing. Yeah, it looks like you got some wear right there.
Got some wear.
That was due.
Yep.
I'm going to leave that
Do you
out.
have a trick?
A little bit late to the game here, but he's putting in the front main bearing. Nice and flush. We'll look down our oil journal, see if we can see daylight. Now we hit it from up here.
Yep.
Piston, floppy rings, they stick out like so. Put your ring compressor on it, tighten it down, collapses the rings. Maybe you don't hit it on there. Leave a little bit of your piston skirt hanging down, so you got something to guide it in with. Numbers and stamp towards the cam side of the engine. Go in nice and gentle, tuck your piston skirts. Before we do that, yep. All right, give it a whack. Okay. And go around to the other side of the engine. I'll show you what we're getting on that. Good. Good. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't. Why?
It's good.
Yeah.
All right, so Noel's installing the cam tappets now. Jeff is over there holding the cam. Proud of you. Lifters, block, directional. Make sure these go back in where they came from. That's the idea behind this. Okay, we can use our imagination. What he's going for are those holes down there. Is where he's putting the tappets in, and you have to put the cam in after the fact.
There's a gasket.
So that's where he's installing them.